Iron Dome rocket defense system will help Israel defend its citizens against these deadly terrorist attacks. I traveled to Israel last month, and I believe that the status quo in the Middle East is unsustainable. Lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians will only be possible if Israel can assure the security of its population. And that's why U.S. support for defensive weapon systems like Iron Dome is so important. This legislation clearly demonstrates that the United States Congress and President Obama will not compromise when it comes to Israel's security. I am proud to support this legislation, and I want to thank its sponsors. And I yield back.
Gentleman from Texas.
I continue to reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from New York.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this time, I yield 1 minute to the representative from Virginia, Mr. Moran, a member of the Committee on Appropriations.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I rise in support of this bill, of which I am also a co-sponsor. Last week, President Obama submitted a request to Congress to authorize funds for this important missile defense system, which will shield Israeli civilians from indiscriminate short-range missile attacks. The bill is consistent with support of human rights for Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, and of efforts to enhance Israel's security and defense of her citizens from violent rocket and missile attacks. This reflects the role that the United States can play in saving lives on both sides of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and if we can save lives and promote a sustainable peace, then we must play that role from both a moral as well as a geopolitical motivation. Because when people feel secure, they think differently than when they feel under siege. Their priorities change. And this missile defense system could be a game changer. Deserves our support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Texas.
Continue to reserve.
Gentleman from New York.
Yield 5 minutes to the gentleman from New Jersey, Representative Rothman, a member of the Committee on Appropriations and its Subcommittee on Defense.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank the gentleman from Staten Island. Thank Congressman Nye, Congressman Pope, for your work on this important issue. Madam Speaker, why is it important for the United States to defend the national security of the State of Israel? Well, it's important because the national security of the State of Israel is critically important to the national security of the United States of America. How is that so? Well, we know, first of all, that the United States has been working with Israel and her technicians on improved missile defense technology. The Arrow missile system is a joint U.S.-Israel technological wonder that protects the United States and its forces around the world from incoming missilery from within 0 to 600 miles. We know that the U.S. is working on a project with Israel called David Sling, again, a defensive system to protect U.S. forces and Israeli forces and people from rockets and mortars fired between 43 and 150 miles. We're also working with the State of Israel, the United States is, on a very sophisticated anti-missile system called Arrow 3, which would allow us to defend against intercontinental ballistic missiles fired as far as 1,200 miles away, and get those missiles 1,200 miles away before they were over American soil or over our troops in the region or over our ally, the State of Israel. So the money that we invest in missile defense with the State of Israel and have our scientists working jointly together is in the vital national security interests of the United States and in the vital national security interests of the State of Israel, which provides us Americans so many benefits, not just the benefits of supporting a fellow democracy and a nation who our founders referred to as people deserving of the right to return to their natural homeland. But Israel has a strategic importance to the United States as well. It's located on the Mediterranean. It's located near the Red Sea. It's a bad neighborhood. A lot of the actors who would want to come and hurt Americans around the world and on U.S. soil are inspired, if not financed, from that region. Israel has one of the world's greatest intelligence services. We Americans get day-to-day updates from that intelligence service, which benefit us in our fight against terrorists who are trying to kill Americans around the world and on American soil. And of course, the money that we give Israel for its military acquisitions, 70% of the money is required to buy American-made munitions. American-made. So those are only some of the reasons. U.S. generals want Israel to have a missile defense system that will be able to be used to protect U.S. troops in the region as well as our ally, the State of Israel. Also, as one of my colleagues mentioned earlier, we increase the chance for peace if potential adversaries know not only that we have a strong offensive power, but that we have a strong defense. So if they know that whatever they shoot at us won't land, won't blow up on us, and that we'll then respond with overwhelming power, and they haven't laid a glove on us, so to speak, then they'll be deterred. They'll say, well, gee, if I throw everything at them and it won't work because they're protected with this anti-missile system, and they're going to respond overwhelmingly, why the heck should we fire at them in the first place? That's why a missile defense system for the United States has been so important. That's why a missile defense system for our #1 strategic military ally in the region, the Jewish state of Israel, is so important for the United States. It will help protect Israel, it will help protect American troops in the region, and it will help reduce the chances of war if those who want to destroy Israel know Israel can survive an attack and then be ready with its own offensive response. I thank the gentleman for offering this bill, and I urge all my colleagues to do so as well.
Gentleman from Texas.
I need to reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from New York.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this time, I yield 1 minute to the gentlelady from Florida, Representative Wasserman Schultz, Chairwoman of the Legislative Branch Subcommittee on Appropriations.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise today in support of H.R. 5327, the United States-Israel Rocket and Missile Defense Cooperation and Support Act. As a staunch supporter of the Jewish state of Israel, it gives me great pride to be a co-sponsor of this resolution, which will provide Israel with the funding it needs to maintain the safety and security of her citizens. By authorizing funds requested by President Obama for Israel's Iron Dome defense system, Congress and President